Bonsoir tout le monde, il est 7 heures, j'aimerais d'appeler la réunion à l'ordre. Je sais pas si que...
I don't know if there are, we want to adopt the agenda. If you allow me, there's a little revision to act here. The presentation that was supposed to be done by the CJ has been reported to the January 5th because of sickness. And also under correspondence, there are two added items. 9.5, that Pamela Milton, from Nova Scotia Public Works, and also 9.6, letter from Jacques Bellefleur from the Sports Center at Université Sainte-Anne. There's a motion for this proposed by Caldevo and seconded by Councillor Godin. All those in favor? Number 3, are there any declarations of conflict of interest? No? If not, we will go to number 5, adoption of the minutes. 5.1 is the meeting of November 17th, a regular council meeting. Are there errors or omissions on this one, this report? Is that proposed by Councillor DeVoe, seconded by Councillor Godin. All those in favor? Passed. 5.2, the meeting of December 1st, the swearing-in ceremony. If there are any errors or omissions on this one? If not, proposed by Councillor Comeau and seconded by Councillor Potier. All those in favor? Motion carried. And then 5.3 is also the December 1st was the council and committee meeting. Are there any errors on this one or omissions? If not, motion for this proposed by Councillor Deveau and seconded by Councillor Doucet. All those in favor? Against? Motion carried. We go to number 6. Business arising from previous council meeting. 6.1 is the repairs on the Belleville Cove Wharf. At the meeting of the committee, we had done a motion to start the repairs on this wharf and give a to do this to that was given to Mr. Belleville to repair the wooden part of the inspectors have met to the person responsible to discuss the project, and we noticed there was a misunderstanding regarding the works. So following this meeting, Mr. Belleville, it was a very friendly meeting, but Mr. Belleville opted to not accept the contract. So from there on, we approached Blue Bay Construction because we know that that company works a lot regarding wharves. So we spoke to Hubert, we met him on site, and we had a price to do this work, which the price is even lower than most Mr. Belleville had given us, so that the amount would be $3,000, a bit over $3,000 to replace. We counted 58 decking planks, and the price that Dooley Construction gave us sort of a buffer. They're giving us more than that if we need more when we do the works. So we have the ability to augment the amount of wood involved. So if you agree to hire Blue Bay Construction, the work could start almost immediately. So it's the recommendation of the staff to accept the $3,675 plus and this money would be taken from the capital reserve of the municipality. Are there questions or comments on this? Nil, Councillor Dusa. I'd like to do the motion. Should I cross? Accept the proposal from Blue Bay in the amount of 3,675 plus HST for the replacement of decking on the Belleville Cove Wharf, and that this amount be taken from the municipality's capital reserve. Proposed by Councillor Toussa and seconded by Councillor Patier. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor? Motion carried. So we go to 7, Warden's activity report. We will start on November 19th. We went to a meeting for Council of Governors of Saint Anne. It was my first meeting with personnel. It was nice to see real faces, to discuss what was going on campus. And on the November 23rd, I went to a meeting of the Administration Council of the Villa Acadienne. On November 26th, I went to a ceremony to signs, bilingual signs, and I had the occasion to congratulate all those that were involved in this project. So they're still waiting for the first sign to be put up, but it should be coming in soon. And on November 29th, I participated at a guided visit at the Acadian Villa. The construction of the building is well advanced. It's starting to form, and the official opening will probably be in January 2023. On December 1st, I went to a meeting of the Administrative Council of the Economic Development of Nova Scotia. This was also my first meeting in person to discuss what was going on with them. On December 5th, I went to the Christmas concerts at the Veterans Center, and also the opening of the new synthetic on the new skating rink at the Veterans Center. On December 6th, I went to a meeting for mayors and wardens to discuss crisis on the lobster fishery, to see what would be the next stages to do to try to help the fishermen of the area. On December 7th, I went to a consultation as part of the project, public spaces regarding Joseph and Marie Dugas Park. The Harry Jost, the architect, made a presentation, and we came to see where the group was and what we need to put this project on. On November 14th, I went to a meeting of the Administrative Council of the Villa to discuss the results of the organizational exam. We also discussed the next stages regarding the new building, what will have to be done in the following days and months. So I don't know if you have any questions or comments. Councillor Como, you said that you met the mayors and wardens about discussing the fishing. Did you have a meeting with Minister of Fisheries and Oceans, where there's a letter that has been sent to her, but we have not answered any answer from her? They're working on a portfolio that would explain what one license in 34, what each license means economically to present this to her. So we're at that stage right now. That's where we're at. Are there any other questions or comments? If not, we will go to number 9. 8. Official statements from members of council. Do you have any presentations this evening? Councillor Goda. Thank you. I would like to talk about a message that I received from Alain Saunier concerning a heroic action that was realized by a young that was in September of 2021. A group of children were playing and were on a wharf belonging to a French on the Sissibou River. All of a sudden, Céline Saunier, who's 4 years old, lost her balance and fell in the water, while her father, Alain, was on the way to save her. Christian Dahl, of 8 years old, was already passed in auction. He dropped in the water and takes Céline out, and Mr. Saunier succeeded to take both of the kids out of the water. Christian Dahl kept Céline above water for long enough so that until Mr. Saunier came back. Mr. Saunier would like to remember Christian, his family, for the and would like to congratulate him for his heroism. I would like to send a letter to the family, if possible, to thank him for doing this. That is something we don't want to see every day, but that this was nice to see that there was action taken right away. So we'll send a letter of congratulations. Thank you. Is there anybody who have presentations, official presentations? If not, now we're in correspondence 9.1. Mr. John Noor, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing.
Amended to add the requirement for municipalities and villages to establish a code of conduct for elected officials. The MGA and HRMC were further amended in 2021 to add provisions regarding codes of conduct, including the requirement for municipalities to hire a third-party investigator to investigate alleged breaches and to enable councils to discuss alleged breaches in camera. Neither the 2017 nor the 2021 amendments have been proclaimed as regulations as required to support their implementation. In order to develop the regulations related to municipal codes of conduct in a thoughtful and collaborative manner, we have chosen to establish a code of conduct working group. This working group has a mandate of developing recommendations on the content to be included in the municipal codes of conduct regulations. These recommendations will focus on the content to be included in a municipal code of conduct, as well as possible sanctions for a breach. The CCWG has representation from the Department of Municipal Affairs and Housing, the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities, the Association of Municipal Administrators of Nova Scotia, and the Association of Nova Scotia Villages, and will function similarly to a joint municipal accountability and transparency committee. The representatives will be from a regional, a rural, a town, and a village to ensure accurate representation across Nova Scotia's municipalities, which assures various sizes and unique needs are captured. The NSFM, AMA, and ANSV have already determined the individuals they will be appointing to the Code of Conduct Working Group. We will work closely with the NSFM, AMA, and ANSV to set up an initial meeting to begin this important work soon. It is important the recommendations developed by the CCWG are supported by municipalities and villages in Nova Scotia. Therefore, once the CCWG has developed their recommendations on the content, the Department of Municipal Affairs and Housing will consult with all municipalities and villages on the proposal. It is difficult to predict when the recommendations will be finalized. However, we will keep you apprised of their progress and look forward to your participation during consultations. I recognize how important this work is to all municipalities and villages in Nova Scotia, and would like to thank you for your patience while we determine the most appropriate path forward to complete this work in a collaborative and thoughtful manner. I look forward to reviewing the proposed recommendations from the CCWG and associated consultation feedback. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to our department. Sincerely, the Honorable John A. Lohr, Minister, Department of Municipal Affairs and Housing.
Any questions or comments on that? We will probably wait to see the results. We will go on to 9.2. Stephanie Mcdonald, Project Manager for Hydro Relicensing at Nova Scotia Power. I will just read part of the letter to not read it in its total.
Process of renewing of operating approvals for the Sissebu hydro system. As part of this process, we would like to share the following information about the upcoming licensing process. Nova Scotia Power generates 95% of Nova Scotia's electricity and serves about 507,000 residences, commercial and industrial customers across the province. As part of the energy mix, Nova Scotia Power operates 32 generating stations on 16 hydroelectric systems in Nova Scotia, providing almost 10% of the province's clean electricity. Each hydro system is operated in accordance with a water approval for storage/withdrawal of water under the Nova Scotia Environment Act, administered by Nova Scotia Environment and Climate Change and renewed every 10 years. From there, the letter goes on to speak regarding the relicensing process, the Sissebu hydro system, and it concludes by saying that this information can be found online at novascotiapower.ca/clean and green /environmental initiatives /hydro facilities relicensing. The letter will also be made available on our website if anyone wants to review it in any detail. They further go on to say that if you would like to discuss further, have any questions, or would like to provide any information on the above systems, we would be happy to talk with you. Please feel free to reach out to hydro relicensing at novascotiapower.ca at any time. Yours truly, Stephanie Mcdonald, Hydro Relicensing Project Manager.
Any questions or comments on that? No? We will go on to 9.3. Bruce Schuyler, Chief Clerk of the Nova Scotia Utility and Review Board.
Requires councils of every town and municipality to apply to the Nova Scotia Utility and Review Board in 2022 to confirm or alter the number and boundaries of polling districts and the number of councillors. All councils must conduct a study into the number of councillors and into the reasonableness and fairness of the number and boundaries of polling districts before making the application to the board. Enclosed is a copy of a user guide prepared by the board to provide guidance to towns and municipalities in the preparations of their applications. Also enclosed is a copy of the board's Municipal Government Act rules. Rule 27 sets out the information that is required to be filed by towns and municipalities which have polling districts or wards to be completed on Form C. Rule 28 sets out the requirements for towns which have no polling districts or wards. It is recognized that the municipality of the District of Clare conducted an extensive consultative process for a municipal boundary review in 2018, leading to the board's decisions in 2018 approving the application to maintain its council size and new polling district boundaries. The board does not have the jurisdiction to waive the statutory requirement for a further study and application in 2022, as set out in the statute. However, in the circumstances, assuming council has satisfied itself through public consultation that there is general public acceptance of the current council size and to the configuration of the polling district boundaries, the board is prepared to consider a simplified application with respect to the 2022 review. Subject to the public or any intervener raising the issue of the number of councillors, the application may be limited to a consideration of polling district boundaries. The application should include a request for approval of the present number of councillors and polling districts, as well as approval of the polling district boundaries or any minor revisions considered appropriate. If required, the board is available to discuss the form and nature of the next application. Please confirm receipt of this letter. Yours very truly, Bruce Kiley, Chief Clerk.
I already confirmed, or I accepted this letter from Mr. Kiley. I did not have any formal discussion regarding this application or its simplified contents to the UARB, but I think it's something we will need to take in consideration following the holidays. There will be budget implications on this for the next fiscal year. The question from the public would be, how would they give their feedback? I am quite sure that if they are looking to a simplified process, if I understand the letter, we still need to have a consultation process. The last time we did this, we hired the Syntec firm for an exercise, but at the end of the day, it was a good exercise for the municipality. But we will consult the population, and when they are talking about an simplified application, I'm not sure what that means, but I will want to clarify that with Mr. Kiley before we proceed. But this is for 2022, so we still have time. This is not only the municipality of Clare, all municipalities of the province receive this. Any questions again? Thank you, Mr. Warden, Mr. DeVoe. Will we be able to use the excuse? I'm not sure it's the good word, but for the process, 2 or 3 years ago, can we warn the public that it was already made and we want to use the same? Or is this will be put aside? I didn't want to, but it depends how we want to communicate this with the public. We can transfer the exercise in 2018. It was a big exercise and was well received by the public and the UARB not too long ago, but that being said, that's the reason why they are offering a simplified process this time. And again, there are certain norms to follow in the consultations, and if there is members of the public who want to intervene, it will oblige us to go in the normal process, but I want to talk to Mr. Kiley about looking at the details about what he means exactly.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments? Thank you. We can, if we go to 9.4, Karen Hudson, Catherine Winkler and Carol Miller on a 1792 project.
Your leadership takes many forms and facilitates countless services for citizens. The request expressed in this letter is a request for one of these acts of leadership. January 15th, 2022 marks the 230th anniversary of a remarkable exodus that can claim not only to be the first but the largest single exodus of African descendants returning to the continent of Africa. The courage to take this sea journey to Sierra Leone at the height of the transatlantic chattel slave trade is without precedent. It is a maritime story, the story of 15 ships prepared in the dead of winter: the Lucretia, the Somerset, the Beaver, the Par, the Venice, the Mary, the Catherine, the Princess William, the Sierra Leone, the Morning Star, the Eleanor, the Felicity, Prince Fleury, the Brothers, and the Betsy. It is a story of resilience of the 1,196 seafarers and a story of failure of community and government to provide safe haven here on these shores for these black loyalists. Our request is that the Council undertakes a motion and proclamation. The motion could include the following requests: to recognize that January 5th, 2022, the 230th anniversary of the exodus from Nova Scotia to Sierra Leone, is an essential part of the history of all Nova Scotians and Canadians. We ask that municipal governments initiate an annual commemoration of this event on the upcoming anniversary, January 15th, on the departure of 15 ships to Sierra Leone. We ask that Council recognizes that it has the responsibility of repairing the historic injustice of omission, as this journey is rooted in the history of slavery and racism in Nova Scotia, thus not turning to those who lived under the weight of that history for funding a memorial, but consulting with those communities. We have attached a sample proclamation for your convenience. We would be willing to provide any further information in the form of a presentation or discussion regarding how this event can be amplified throughout the province. We respectfully request that this letter and the proclamation is shared with the Diversity Committee. Thank you for your continued service to the people of Nova Scotia. You are the gateways for change in your communities. Sincerely, Karen Hudson, Catherine Winkler, and Carol Millette.
Are there any comments on this letter? Councillor DeVoe. Are they asking that we do it just once, or it will be an annual thing that we will have to celebrate every year? I think we ask that we confirm as council that we recognize in our communications that the date of January 15th, the council has a policy to not do any official proclamations. This being said, there's nothing that will prevent us from, in our communication and our social media and that, to recognize the importance of the January 15th date, which is if it's something you desire to do. I will not talk to our officer of communication, but I think we can do a communication to recognize the importance of this date, if you agree with this. In our municipality, we do a lot of work regarding to accept people from outside who are coming to live in Clare, and I think it's a good thing to put this as part of our project, this what we just discussed. If we agree with this, we'd ask Amy if she can do something to put something on Facebook, on social media, to recognize this date officially. So do we need a motion for this? I would say if we talk, I think this is quite, I think I just included this on the agenda today just to see that we write to these three persons to tell her what is the position of the of council, but we will recognize the date of January 15, and we will do this using our communications on social media. So we go to 9.5, letter from Pamela Remenchan for the Francomo Road. I have a hard time to read this. It's written in very small print. We never,
To the Minister dated October 30th, 2021, regarding Frank Como Road. The Minister has asked that I respond on her behalf. Please accept our apologies for the delayed response. Unfortunately, as you have indicated, Frank Como Road is listed as a K-class road, which are not maintained by the province. The Department of Public Works does not currently have plans to begin providing maintenance service to K-class roads. If you wish to further discuss the department's policy with respect to maintenance of K-class roads, please contact me at Pamela Melman-Shand at novascotia.ca or at 902-742-2416. Sincerely, Pamela Melman-Shand, Area Manager, Yarmouth, Shelburne, and District of Clare.
are there questions or comments on this letter? Mr. Dozatel was looking more of a letter of support to support his request to look at the reclassification of this road and to go in more detail on how they declassify or reclassify K roads. Are there questions or comments on this? Councillor Como? What would they like us to include in the letter? Is it to know how they classified the road? I think it's mostly, I think Mr. Deshotel accepted our request, how we dealt with his request, but he's looking to he's gonna continue pushing this request that this road be reclassified because it involves a lot. For me, the question is not the fact that it's a K road, which is unmaintained. I noticed the policy of the province that they don't want to maintain it, but what is the processes that it is a K road, and what would the amount of how often is this road used, and is this an option to so if the councillor thinks it's, I think this is the types of question we would ask if we send them a letter, because we both ends of this road are not classified as K road, and I think it's less than 1 kilometer long for this section, and because of this I think we should be in a place to help these people to determine what.
I think we should support his request and write a letter. And in the future, there could be other roads that we could consider also. Are you ready to make a motion? Moved by Councillor Como, seconded by Councillor DeVoe. Are you ready for the vote? All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. To put the letter together, do we need a formal? 9.6, Jacques Bellefleur, Director of the Sports Center at Université Sainte-Anne. Good evening, good day, Stefan. I hope everything is going well and that the holidays are falling in place. I want to request a second letter of support. As you know, the pool is closed since a while because of work that has to be done, and we need a spare part. In the time being, we will have a temporary repairs, and the pool will be closed for 3 months. The CDNA offered support from the New Horizons program that will give us a financial support to accomplish support to the seniors in our area. We will attempt to apply, and it gives us up to $25,000. Thank you for your continued support to the municipality. So as you remember, we sent a letter of support to the university not long ago for work on the rink. It was not a letter of financial support from the municipality, but why it's here tonight is I received the email from Mr. Belfleur today, and the New Horizons program is completing this week or next week, so there is not a lot of time to prepare the letter and to include it in their request. For me, the pool adds a lot to the quality of life in the people of the municipality, not only for seniors but of all ages. And this is not a letter for financial support, but just for support. So I recommend that we send a letter of support to the university. It's perfect. Any comments on this? I make the motion that we send a letter. Moved by Councillor Godet, seconded by Councillor Doucette. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. Item 10, the CEO's report. Thank you. I will start my report with a small update on the internet project. I will do it in English as usual.
5 customers now online. The overpass on 2nd Division Road, which has been a long-term source of delay for the project, was scheduled to happen by the end of December. Unfortunately, the wind and storms that were at the start of this month have created further delays. It is now scheduled for January 5th. Once that section is complete, it will allow Mainland to light up a sizable portion of the network and thereby potentially connecting a lot of residents and businesses. If we look at the breakdown by phases, phases 1 to 10 are all complete. So that is basically Route 1 from Sonyville, from Comeauville to St. Bernard, New Edinburgh, Bud-la-Rivière, Ohio, Hassett, Concession, Patrice Road, Littlebrook Station, Saint Joseph, PF Como Road, the Amira Road, the Sonyville Road, portions of 2nd Division Road, Eustache Como Road, Sonyville Road, the Saint-Sonia Road, Matagan River, D'Entremont Road, Placid Como Road, the Matagan Connector, Bonnie Road, Peter Dugo Road, and the John Thibodeau Road. So again, these sections are all complete, and Mainland is now completing applications. Phase 11, which is from the Sonyville Road to Maxwellton, along 2nd Division Road. That section is mostly spliced. They're just waiting for the feeder across the 2nd Division overpass. So once that connection is complete, they can light up that portion of the network. Phase 12, which is the remainder of the D'Entremont Road out to the Salmon Lake area, is at the same point. It's basically the construction is complete. The splicing is expected to be completed this week. And once the overpass issue is remedied, then we can light up that portion of the network as well. Good news for Phase 13, which is Highway 1 and side roads from the Matagan connector to Mavillette. That construction is complete. The splicing is expected to be complete this week, and that portion of the network could theoretically be turned or be lit up next week, and installations commencing immediately. They already have some drops made, so assuming that the testing goes well, once the splicing is completed this week, they can start physical installations to individual residents or businesses as early as next week. Phase 14, which is Highway 1 and side roads from Mavillette to Bear River. The strand and fiber construction is ongoing. Phase 15, Salmon River Road and Hectanuga Road. The trimming resumed the week of December 6th. Trimmers then left to complete Phase 16 and work on Phase 17, which is the cleanup and make ready for extension areas. Phase 16 is Salmon River and the Lake Dowsett Road. The trimming is complete. Mainland is still waiting for pole work and a quote for the necessary make readies. Phase 17, which is basically cleanup areas throughout the municipality like Thibault Road, Eel Lake, and Stewart Street, etc. Most of this trimming is complete, except for a few outage areas. And I discussed one with Mainland earlier today, just off of the 2nd Division Road towards Concession. Phase 18, which is the Norwood Road, the Peter LeBlanc Road, and the Cranberry Lake Road. Bell has finished its scoping and approved the plans. Those plans are now with Nova Scotia Power, which is conducting its review. So that, in a nutshell, with regards to the internet project. I know there's a lot of phases and it can be confusing, but it is a large project where we're talking in excess of 300 kilometers of fiber throughout the municipality. So the project is evolving, but it is nevertheless advancing nicely. And I think everyone, Mainland, the municipality, residents, businesses, will be happy once we can resolve that overpass issue off the 2nd Division Road. Pour le restant de mon rapport,
For the rest of my report, the Veteran Center, there are no changes. There are no changes since my last monthly report regarding our support for finances. For the welcoming committee, as the warden reported, the report was well received. We have different partnerships with the PharmaSave and others in Clare. The municipality offered a gumbo to the people of the area. We had multilingual music on the Christmas theme, and we celebrated the opening of our skating rink, a public skating rink. For a lot of people asked a question here, but the information has been on our website. It's open from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., but we reserve certain hours from 3 to 7 for public skating. The rink will be available. The availability of the rink will vary from time to time, depending on the weather and other special events. So the residents are asked to consult the community calendar on our website to see the schedule and more information. Also, the municipality purchased some skates, hockey sticks and nets and stuff as part of equipment that we offer for free to the community who want to use it. So it's a special service to the community to have it available to everyone.
Also, in the community account, we're going to spend a new word with Rosanne Deveau, who is going to help us to give lessons of people who want to learn how to skate. I think Rosanne Deveau is quite well known in Nova Scotia, in Clare, and she will be teaching the classes. There was probably saw on social media that we launched this week a message for first, which is celebrated the diversity and inclusion in all of Clare. We have a compilation of Vive le Vent, and it was sang by different residents in Clare in different languages, Japanese, Spanish, Tagalog, Swahili, and other languages were used in this little video. I saw it this afternoon, and I think it's very well made. The video was kind of viral, and until now it's been shared about 150 and has been seen by 6,500 people in Facebook. For me, it's very small, but it's something that has a lot of impact, and it's a video which explains why we have this project of community inclusion here in Clare. Also with this community, we worked with the collaboration. We will sponsor supper for international students. There's about 18 international students who will be at St. Anne's during Christmas, so to make them feel home, we'll have supper at the Rendezvous de la Baie. There will be about 30 people who will participate in this event. With all our activities, we'll assure that we restrict all the COVID-19 regulations. And finally, good news. Immigration Canada said that the project will be prolonged for another year. It will go from 3 years to 4 years. In March 2024 it will end. We have not received any news for findings, but I think it will be one additional financing for another year. For our project of public spaces, as you know, we had submissions, a geotechnical survey to the park at Cape Saint Marie Harborside has completed their evaluation, and they told us that the two sites are feasible for look-offs. It's a feasible project, and the official report for Cape Saint Marie will be received next week. The one for Snuggler's Cove, we think we'll receive it at the beginning of January. For Joseph and Marie Dubois Park, we had a visit on December 7th from Jost Architects and Alvino Leblanc and Muriel Como of the Société Historique. St. Mary's, as the warden mentioned, there was a meeting with 9 members of the advisory committee for the Joseph and Marie Dubois Park to see what is the vision and the expectations of this group. There were 3 representatives from council here and representatives from the farmers market and other people. The next meeting of this group will be on January 11th in person, and then we will have a draft of what we will propose to the architects. Those Sons for Wayfaring and the Interpretive Center at Cape Saint Marie will be discussed later on at 12.2 and 12.3 respectively. For Housing Action Plan, not much new since my last report because we have not met, but we had a meeting for December 9, but we could not meet because of the weather. Now this is it will be held on December 20th. I spoke to them briefly today. They told us that the analysis of the villa, they have made their analysis, and I think the meeting will be discussing next stages before we do an official presentation to council regarding the villa. So, and also to discuss the people who offered their pieces of land for housing in the municipality. So there will be consultations between council and these people will be held in January to see that we're all on the same page. Nothing new on the sidewalks in Metighan. We're ready to ask proposals. The program has been announced last month. They do not accept yet the active transportation fund can finance up to 60% of the value of the project. For tonight, we will discuss 12.1 to the Clare Health Center and Maxwellton Road and Schmabuna. These washrooms are complete. We're just waiting to have some good days to install this. We hope to do it before the end of December. These will be closed for public for later. For the project that Investors had on there is only 2 ends of the Piste Blues. The installation of the fencing around the has been confirmed this week, and the the part that will, and rubber will be just installed in the fall, in the spring, when it will be warmer. So this would, if we do it now, with the durability would be compromised. As for the bibliothèque in Meteghan, the renovations for the washrooms are almost finished, the electrical, and they're at the gyprock level. And for those who are listening, the library in Meteghan is participating to distributing of rapid test kits for COVID-19. The staff of the library is trying to give one kit per family. The project is to try to reach as many families as possible. So they had the first batch of kits, and they have been distributed, and they hope to get some more in the future. We have 2 tenders to renovate the cuisinette at the medical center, which will be closed from the 21st of December. And we got a new tender for Clare Search and Rescue for renovations, and this tender will close on January 10th, 2022. Finally, finances.
2021, la municipalité avait 9 189 006 en revenus versus 6 333 258 en dépenses, pour un surplus de 2 855 748. Encore en date du 30 novembre 2021, la municipalité avait une balance de 2 764 321 dans son compte opérationnel, 135 555 dans son compte pour des projets capitaux, et un total en réserve de 5 262 908 $. Le dernier montant peut être ventilé de la manière suivante. Notre réserve opérationnelle, 2 143 814 $. Notre réserve pour des projets capitaux, 1 952 349 $. Notre landfill closure reserve, 335 095 $. Et notre gas tax reserve, 831 650 $. Alors, tout ça pour dire que financièrement, la municipalité demeure toujours dans une position forte. Et ça, c'est mon rapport.
Merci pour ça, M. Cyr. Est-ce qu'il y a des questions, des commentaires? Conseil débat?
Merci, M. le Préfet. Juste un petit commentaire sur la patinoire à Saunieville. J'ai commencé à m'en servir, c'était vraiment le fun. J'aimerais justement ajouter qu'on a aussi sur le dos de la patinoire, on a aussi les affiches des règlements. Avant d'embarquer sur la patinoire, on demande que tout le monde lise les règlements et qu'ils les suivent le plus possible, parce que pour la plus longue durée de notre patinoire. Ça. Merci.
C'est bien. D'autres questions, commentaires? Sinon, c'est pour voir que tous les projets avancent pied devant l'autre. Ça va de l'avant. Sauter à 11, rapport des comités, rapport des permis de construction. Conseil d'où ça?
Pour les permis de construction en novembre 2020, il y avait 26 en 2020, et en 2021, il y en avait 20. Un total de 8 994 660 pour novembre 2020. Et pour 20 permis en 2021, c'était 2 688 300. Jusqu'à date, pour l'année, il y a eu 247 permis en 2020 pour un total de 9 499 219. Et en 2021, il y avait 275 permis sortis, et pour un total de 45 434 653. Fait que c'est ça, on est encore en bonne position pour les permis. Merci.
Merci pour ça, c'est doux ça. Des questions, des commentaires sur ça? Sinon, alors, sauter à 11.2. Southwest Nova Biosphere Reserve, conseiller de vous.
Merci, Monsieur le Préfet. On a eu une réunion de la board le 20
On October 20. We met on Zoom. Nobody met for that meeting, but we talked about a lot of things. But the main things I want to note is that we spoke again on the Atlas, Science Atlas. It's a project we've been working on for a few years. It is going well with that. It is not completed yet, but it's going really well. So we are talking also about hiring someone for translation of parts of the Atlas in French. So we will have it in French and English, the two official languages that we are looking at. Also, we are in discussion with promoting more the St. Mary building in Church Point, the church, former church. We want to put this more with the UNESCO site in hoping to get money from people who don't know this is going on, but how the church is important, or the building is important, and we would like to incorporate this more with our UNESCO site. It's an area we would like the people to come to visit more and more, and we are talking more about this. And with the committee of the building, so we are also looking at, we did it already, but we are the Southwest Nova Biosphere Reserve. We find that the word reserve is not going well with it. It confuses people. We are not a reserve. So what we are doing, and some groups have done it, we want to change the word reserve to region, which is more important for us because it will be called the Southwest Nova Biosphere Region instead of reserves. So there are a few groups who have biospheres, regions, who have changed. There are several, so we will just continue the trend and we will change. But if anybody uses the word reserve again, it's still good, but we want to change it officially from reserve to region. So that is the things we talked about more, but apart from that, everything is going well. Thank you. Any questions or comments on this? If not, it looks like you have a lot of projects on the go. It's nice to see that it's going on here. That's nice to see. We will go on to item 12, new business, 12.1. Motion to accept proposal, detailed design for the expansion of the Clare Health Center. Yes, as you know, we launched a tender call to explore the possibility of expanding the Clare Health Center to accommodate our recruiting activities for doctors, and also to look at the possibility of adding to our list of services that we have presently at the center. We had a lot of success in the past with the model that we have at the health center, but the problem we have now, and it's a nice problem to have, we have the possibility to have more doctors and residents if we continue our recruiting projects, but we want to be able to accommodate them. But now they are working very well. It is a key part of our success, but what we want to explore now is an physical expansion to the center to have the potential of welcoming other new doctors and expand our services to the community. So we had a tender call coming out. It closed November 29th on 2021. We received 3 tenders for the detailed design. So it's for the architecture and engineers to develop a concept of what this expansion could look like. We analyzed the 3 submissions, myself and the staff here, and we agree with the recommendation that I mentioned earlier this month, that we grant the contract or to accept the proposal for the detailed design of the Clare Health Center from DSRA Architecture Inc. for the amount of $189,192 plus HST. The 3 companies had a lot of experience in the health field, but the SRA we evaluated based on the price, the experience, and the methodology proposed, and they marked better. So and the subject of the cost, the SRA was also the least of the 3, having considered all, and they also had the most. So this was an interesting submission. That's why we made the motion.
Are there any comments on this? Somebody want to do the motion? Councillor Portier? I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare accept the proposal from DSRA Architecture Inc. for the detailed design of the Clare Health Center expansion in the amount of $189,192 plus HST. Proposed by Councillor Potier. Somebody to second? Seconded by Councillor Comeau. Ready for the question? All those in favor? Against? Motion carried. 12.2, motion to accept the proposition for the system of orientation. As I mentioned in my report, this we wanted for wayfinding and gateway signage sign. The proposals closed on the 19th of November. We had 5 submissions, and Larry Beach and myself, we studied these and we recommended to council that this would would be done to Dennis Sonny design at the amount of $14,500 inclusive of HST. We were working with Mrs. Sonia in the past, and the work we wanted to accomplish is something that Mr. Sonia has a lot of experience in, and for this reason we're comfortable in propose that she be we accept her submission, the proposal. Are there comments on this one? Somebody who wants to do the motion? Councillor DeVoe. I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare accept the proposal from Denise Saunier Design for the detailed design of the wayfinding and gateway signage system in the amount of $14,500 inclusive of HST. Proposed by Councillor DeVoe, seconded by Councillor Dusa. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor? Against, motion carried. 12.3, motion to accept the proposal of detailed design of the Cape St. Mary Lighthouse Experience Center. Against, this is kind of the public spaces. We asked for proposals to the signage for the Cape St. Mary Lighthouse Center. This submission was also done by Denise. We had 3 submissions, or 3 proposals. My recommendation in that of Larry Peach was also to give the contract to Denise Saunier for the same reasons of the one that I listed previously, because she has a lot of experience in this area and she knows the area well, the history of it, and the municipality has a good relationship with her. So we also her proposal was the most competitive. So this was the best choice for the project and for the municipality. If you look at the entire project and the budget we have, we are where we wanted to be budget-wise. We don't know the request for federal funds has not been accepted recently, but but we are we are accepting the proposals on conditional reception of these funds, but we're quite think that we will be getting the necessary funding. Is there questions or comments on this, Councillor DeVoe? I move that the municipality of the district of Clare accept the proposal from Denise Saunier Design for the detailed design of the Cape St. Mary Lighthouse Experience Center in the amount of $35,050 inclusive of HST. Proposed by Councillor DeVoe, seconded by Councillor Potier. All those in favor? Against? Motion carried. 12.4, motion to send a letter of support for Scotia Garden Seafood Inc. Scotia Garden Seafood Inc. They bought aerobic digester in Hatchetts, and they cleaned the site thoroughly. That was the first phase of their project. The second phase was to look at the digester itself, and they brought the necessary adjustments so that it can function in the future. So this to the company has made a request low carbon fund program, and they came to see us just to have a letter of support to send with their request for, but they were just not asking us for any funds, but just to put some more the infos it made to put the link between the project and the community to show that there is a support from the community. So they would like to have a letter of support from our council to help them. As I said, later on I've worked with this company to see how they clean the site and bring back the digester to life, and it's been a very good work, and it's an excellent company to work with. So I think it's good for council to provide them with a letter of support. would like to make the motion? Councillor Como. I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare write a letter to Scotia Garden Seafooding to support of their application for funding under the Low Carbon Communities Program for the revitalization of an anaerobic digester site in the municipality. Proposed by Councillor Como and seconded by Councillor Potier. You ready for the question? All those in favor? Against? Motion carried. 12.5, motion to adopt a policy for ice and snow control policy. This is part of our process, a policy that we want to put in place. As you know, our municipality is putting a lot of emphasis to formalize our policies around occupational health and safety. This was asked for by the province. We already had something in place, but there were a lack of documentation, so we're trying to formalize our initiatives. Daniel Godin, our inspector, is taking this process in charge, but it is work done by a committee. And it's regarding the medical center, the equipment at the transfer station, and we include other employees as the need arises. It is a big work to be done, and regarding this initiative, we wanted to put a policy in place. There are places in the municipalities where we have staff for the whole day at the transfer station, at the library, at the health, at the health center. So it is not complicated. It's just to assure that we have some policy in place to remove snow and to assure that we will prevent any accidents, especially at the Clare Health Center, because it's often people who are more so people in the community are using this place, so we want to assure that we have policies in place to ensure the safety of these people, like all our policies. Before to implement them, we have to look to get the approval of council, so this is what we're looking for tonight.
Any comments on that? If not, does anybody wish to make the motion? Councillor DeVoe. Thank you. I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare adopt the ice and snow control policy as presented. Moved by Councillor DeVoe, seconded by Councillor Godin. Ready for the vote? All those in favor? Contrary? Motion is carried. 12.6, a motion to grant a tender dry fire hydrant project for the Clare Veteran Center. This is for the fire hose behind the the Veteran Center. We had a tender out and it closed last week, I think last Friday. We had one tender from Spec Resources Inc. at the amount of $33,480 plus HST. This would include the cleaning and the installation of necessary equipment and fencing all around. We were surprised by the cost, but looking at their tender and checking more, the biggest expense there is the fencing. In my head, I compared it to the water hole we dug in Little Brook, but that was about 3 years ago already. So since then, the prices have gone up quite a bit. And for the excavation costs and everything, that's the industry norms, but it gives us the value of the difference. That's why the prices went up. But in spite of all that, we look at the water hole we have there, it's impossible to use it. So if we look at the Sonyville region, the hub there, there's a lot of industries with Foodland, Common Seafoods, TIR Center, the Veteran Center, Acadie Fit, as well as the residences there who are close to each other. So if a fire comes out, there's a risk to impact on the businesses and the residents. So given these factors and the fact that in Little Brook, the departments in Little Brook and in Sonyville mentioned that it was necessary to make repairs to those water holes. It's necessary in case of a fire. So my recommendation would be that we accept the recommendation of Spec Resources of $33,480 plus HST from our capital reserve. So if the weather continues as it is now, they can start right away in December and estimate to finish in January if everything goes well. So as I say, my recommendation for your consideration is that we accept the tender. I am not convinced that if we delay this a month or two that we will have a better price necessarily, but because of the importance of this project, I would like to go forward with this project. Do you have any clarification or debate on this, Councillor Gaudin? I would like to make the motion. I move that the Council for the Municipality of District of Clare award the tender for the dry fire hydrant project at the Clare Veteran Center to Spec Resources Inc. in the amount of $33,480 plus HST, and that this amount be taken from the municipality's capital reserve. Moved by Councillor Gaudin, seconded by Councillor DeVoe. Ready for the vote? All those in favor? Yes? Against? Motion carried. So for the people on the air, this brings us to the end. We have one item in session, personnel matters. So the next meeting will be January 19th, 2022. And on behalf of the staff and council, I would like to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see you next year.
Une motion pour...
A motion to go in camera, Councillor Doucette, seconded by Councillor Poitier. All those in favor? Motion carried.